What's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. New video. Every now and then, it's been going on for years, but lately it's been more, right? But it's still every now and then. I get comments left on my videos, left on my channels, and they say, you were convicted for killing someone. You don't deserve to be out here. I also see all these comments by people who weren't there, who they like to tell their version or the DA and police version of what occurred the night where I took a man's life. And so this video, I'm gonna retouch on some stuff, and then we're gonna answer the question on whether or not I deserve to be out here, okay? So in 1993, in June of 1993, I had been out of the California Youth Authority approximately 5 months. I was a gang member. I was cold-hearted. I was more focused on my neighborhood, representing my gang, making sure my gang always looked and was thought of as the craziest. I was one of the main dudes in my neighborhood, having started the clique I was from. And so I wasn't okay with just being the regular guy. And that's because of my insecurities as a kid, right? And so one night, June 27th, 1993, one of the homies baptized his son. And a bunch of the homies went to Oak Park, which is one of the parks my neighborhood claimed as theirs, even though Oak Park is more on the outskirts, nice park. We still considered it ours. We patrolled it. It was a different time back then, okay? So there was a few of us there. It was probably 30 to 35 of us from my neighborhood. There were 6 dudes from our worst enemies there because they were there invited by the family. And I believe there was 4 guys from another rival neighborhood. Everyone ate, everybody drank, everything was respectful. I made sure that I personally went to the guys from the other neighborhood and said, look, you guys are here with the family and all that, but when the sun goes down, I wouldn't be here if I was you. You should leave when the family leaves, eh? And they were like, nah, as soon as they jam, we're gone. I said, all right, cool. And everything was cool. We drank there for hours. And when the family started leaving, so did the other guys from the other neighborhoods. Imagine that. We had guys from other neighborhoods there with us that we don't get along with for nothing. And there were no problems. And then when they left, we decided we were going to go over the bridge. We're going to drink in the apartments. We got to the apartments. I had stopped to light a cigarette. I'm not going to go into the whole thing. After I lit my cigarette, I was watching someone that was watching us, which was one of the firemen there was a firehouse next to the apartments. When I turned to go into the apartments, I noticed a car full of dudes, a whole carload of people. Turned out that was the victim and his friends. At the time, I was 19 years old. My victim was 29 years old. People like to paint the picture different. People that don't like me like to keep saying that it was a kid and he was innocent. But unfortunately for their version of the story, there they were parked in a very dangerous neighborhood, a whole carload of them, watching my homeboys. And because my homeboys were slipping and drunk, they didn't notice the car. I did. I approached the car. I looked. They didn't even notice me. I looked to see any weapons. Didn't see any weapons in anybody's lap. Then I stuck my head in the driver's side window. That way I could see what's up on the driver's side, the passenger. Didn't see weapons. And I said, what's up? Who you guys looking for? They never answered me. And I told them, hey, whoever the fuck you guys are, you better be careful around here. And I knew they were there for the wrong reasons, but they didn't do nothing. I walked into where the homies were and I started talking, hey, what the hell's wrong with you guys? You guys all passed that car and didn't jam them up? And they go, what car? And we turn around and look and they're already backing out. Boom, and they took off. We decided, let's go drink in the pool. The pool is at the front of the apartments on the corner. There's a brick wall surrounding it. When we went to go in there was some paisitas in there with their kids. I remember exactly how many of us went from the park there. Only 14 of us. And imagine 14 gang members at night walking into a pool area. Obviously, they got nervous. I noticed the nervousness and I told the homies, hey, homies, we're making them nervous. Let's wait on the corner. We were on the corner of Hacienda and Modoc. This is all outskirts of our neighborhood. This isn't a hangout. This is where the homie lived, right? And we're standing there and I have my back to the street and I see out of the corner of my eye a car coming down. I, glance real quick, turn my head back and I'm talking to the homies because the other homies are facing that car. After about a minute, one of the homies goes, hey, homies, how come that fucking car ain't moving? Who the fuck is that? I turn around and look. I said, man, that's them. The homies all rushed the car, yelling the neighborhood. They yelled out. And people are trying to say that the dude was from the east side. He wasn't from the east side. We'll get to that. But what they yelled out was, Goleta, G13, we'll be back. They yelled out, Goleta, Galita. Right? G13, a rival neighborhood. They yelled out, Goleta, G13, we'll be back. One of the little homies, like a dummy, chased the car for like half a block, fell down, and that's why in the report they try to say he got injuries because of the skirmish that happened later. No. He tripped because he was drunk. He cut his arm, he scraped his arm and his hip. He came back. Again, we're teenagers. Every one of us is teenagers. These dudes were older dudes. Because of that, we took them serious. At that time, in that neighborhood, nobody would ever come back. Nobody. If they did, they're going to go to a different part of the neighborhood that doesn't understand or doesn't know that there was just an interaction, an aggressive interaction. Actually, 2 of them now. Already 2 times they came. So, because of their age and because they yelled out a rival neighborhood, we decided, let's grab some guns, eh? They want it, we're going to give it to them. We went, grabbed the guns, came back. We waited around. After about 45 minutes, we said, yeah, the pussies ain't coming back. Then we started pitching in. Hey, Holmes, let's go grab some more beer, Holmes. As we were pitching in, I'm facing the carport area. It's like an alleyway. And I'm facing it. Modoc is running this way, east and west. And I'm facing the walkway, the alleyway, whatever, the entrance. And I see 2 dudes run across. And I looked, and some of the homies yell, hey, that's them. And they took off running down the carport, right? And I tell them, hey, that ain't them, Holmes. Come back. And they stopped. And it was the 13-year-old and the 15-year-old that were with us. For all these dudes that want to talk all that they were younger than us. It was a 13 and the 15-year-old that took off running after them. And I told them, hey, get back over here, Holmes. That's not them. As they were walking back towards us, I never took my eyes off because I had a feeling it was them. So as they're walking towards us, the two that had ran past, they come around and they're trying to creep down, like if I can't see them. 3 more from the other side. So there's 5 of them now. And they're trying to creep up into where we're at. I'm assuming they're trying to catch them because they can't see the rest of us that are under the carport. And I'm watching these dummies. And I tap my road dog. And he looks at me and I went like this. Shh. And I pointed. And he's looking. And I remember he shook his head like, they just fucked up. One of them stepped on something because the 13 and the 15-year-old heard them all of a sudden and they spun around and they started yelling out the neighborhood and rushed them. Everybody else rushed them. Me and my road dog were the last 2 to leave. I looked at him, I said, come on, let's go. When I ran out to the front of the apartments, there they were on the corner of Hacienda and Modoc. And nobody was talking. Everybody was standing. Everybody was just staring at each other. That's when I gave them an opportunity. I said, who the fuck are you, eh? Again, they wouldn't answer. As I'm looking at them, I could see a weapon in the open in one of them's hand. I thought it was a pipe. It was about this big. It's probably about 24 inches, right? I can't get, that in the picture. Looked like it was about 24 inches. Looked like a pipe. That turned out to be the one that gets killed. And I looked, and let me just remind you guys. These dudes, except one of them, these dudes, 29, 30, 31-year-olds. We are teenage gang members. In my mind, if they want to just get down, we're going to beat the fucking dog shit out of them. There's no way they're not going to get their ass whooped. That one weapon that we see, man, we're taking that from him. In my head, this is what I'm thinking. And I'm asking them, who are you, Holmes? You guys realize where you're at? Like, ain't nobody playing around here, Holmes. Why don't you vatos get out of here, eh? They wouldn't answer. I told them, you guys looking for pedo? We're celebrating a baptism here. Why don't you go down to the park? There's probably 100 motherfuckers in that park right now hoping somebody like you shows up. They didn't answer. So what happened next was the 13-year-old. He slapped the shit out of the guy with the weapon, the one that wound up losing his life. He slapped him. Bam! And he said, answer my homeboy when he's talking to you. When he did that, their big mouth homeboy took a step back and he reached into the back of his pants. Into the back waistband of his pants, and he said, well, what's up then? And that's when our guns came out. What's up then? Again, I was a gang member. I was 19 years old. You came to us 3 times. Now you're reaching for weapons. I already see your homeboy with a weapon. That don't mean nothing. But now you reaching in your waistbands? Let's see what's up then. Let's see who's really a killer. That's what was in my mind. In my mind, I wanted to kill every one of them. The dude next to me is the one, he starts shooting in the air like a pussy. Dude from my neighborhood, the one that wanted ratting on me. I took the gun from him. And I chased all of them down. And I shot one of them in the back of the head. I'm not proud of that. As a man, the man that I am now, knowing how valuable life is now, how precious life is, I'm not proud of that. I am not who I was though. The person I was then, I didn't give a damn about my freedom, my life, nothing. So there was no way I was going to give a damn about anybody else's. You come into my neighborhood and you act like you ain't scared, I'm going to let you know and everyone else know why you need to be afraid to come into the West Side. That's the person I was. Had I had the gun initially in my waistband, as soon as he fucking pulled that, reached into his waistband, I would have started shooting all of them. No shots would have went in the air. I would have shot all of them because that's who I was. I was an animal at that time. But the fact remains, 3 times they came to us. 3 times they could have left. They could have gone home. They could have stayed with their families, with their wives, with their kids. But no. They told the cops that they came to put in work. See, these guys that talk about this case like, I'm a coward. I was a gang member. I did what gang members did back then in that era. But they always leave out the part where they said they came to my neighborhood to put in work. They came to us 3 times. We're celebrating a baptism. Now, do I deserve to be on the streets? No. The short answer, no. I absolutely do not deserve to be on the streets. I took a man's life. I took a father from his son. I took a brother from his brother and sisters. I took a husband from his wife. These are all burdens that I have to carry. And if people think that I don't carry those burdens, then you don't know who I am. And that's fine. But these frivolous ass people who like to throw mud and rewrite history, understand what I did was bad enough. It was wrong enough. You don't need to rewrite it. And I want you to know something else. Every single lifer, every lifer that I know and have had a conversation with, who had a life sentence for killing somebody and has been reintroduced into society, if you ask them, do they deserve to be out here? They'll tell you no. We understand what we did. We understand how wrong it was. But we also understand that through the grace of God, we were given a second opportunity. And that's why every single one of us that I know, hundreds of lifers that had murders and got out, not one, not a single one of them went back to prison. I know a couple that were friends of mine that I mentored in their self-help in prison. They overdosed and died, unfortunately, and that broke my heart. Both times broke my heart. Because I couldn't understand, how could you be so selfish and hopeless at a young age that you caught a body, you caught a life sentence, and then you get a second chance at life? What could be so hard out here that you had to go back to using dope? I couldn't wrap my head around it, and I still can't. But this video is for those that like to say as if you're hurting my feelings or telling me something I don't know. I know I don't belong out here. Well, let me say this. I know I don't deserve to be out here. But I also know that the hand of God was involved in my release. So, as productive as I have been, I got out almost 8 years ago. I've been such a productive citizen in society. I've worked with youth. I've spoke at so many places. I haven't done so in a long time because the bills got to get paid. I have this platform where I get to reach people from all over the world. I get DMs and I get comments saying how impactful my story has been, my words have been. This is why I was released. There are people who have sobered up because of my content and my story. There are people who have gotten away from gangs and put their families first because of my content and my story. I'm grateful for that. I'm happy for that. Whatever people think of me, I have peace in my heart. I have happiness and love in my heart. These are things that I've earned. These are things that I've learned because I didn't have those things before. When I was willing to kill anybody at any time, I didn't have love and peace and happiness in my heart. Now I do. I will never be perfect. Now and then I bite into this bullshit. And off camera, I kick myself in the ass because I know I'm better than who's shooting arrows at me. The proof is in the pudding. That's my video for today, man. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Everybody, please be safe, be smart, and tell the ones you love that you love them. I'm out of here.